It's 4:30. This is WKYT This Morning. Eastern Kentucky University students are reeling after getting items stolen during a field trip. Plus, a young boy is found drunk outside a Dollar General store. What police are now saying about it. And a family is holding a fundraiser for a local firefighter.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning, and thank you so much for waking up bright and early with WKYT. I'm Andrea Walker. Bill Bryant has the morning off. It is Tuesday, October 11th, and the weather outside is just going to be spectacular today. A little chilly now, but trust me, it's going to be nice the rest of the day. Let's head now to meteorologist Micah Harris for an early look at your forecast.
Yeah, and if you don't trust her, you can trust me. I mean, we're looking at some really nice weather outside. You can trust both of us, man. Live sky camera, there's a shot outside. Things look really good across 75 and Winchester Road. Early this morning, if you're getting up, taking off, it's just a chilly start. Things look great outside. Like Andrew was talking about, though, it's chilly this morning once again. Then we hit the afternoon, and we'll be seeing temperatures there in the 70s. So it's a really nice feel in the air later on today. We're 53 now in Lexington, but 43 down in the London-Corbin area. There we go toward the afternoon where it's 74 degrees, and it looks like we're going to be holding on to really nice temperatures there in the forecast, and a good look, too, as we continue to track off through the next couple of days. Now, as we get towards your Thursday and Friday, it's going to be a different story because then a cold front comes blasting on through. I'll show you what that brings along with it coming up.
Micah, thank you. In the news this morning, a school trip to St. Louis took an unexpected turn for a group of Eastern Kentucky University students. While visiting a museum, thieves broke into their van and stole thousands of dollars worth of their belongings. WKYT's Victor Puente spoke with students to find out what happened.
It was supposed to be a great way to end a school trip. Instead, a visit to the City Museum in St. Louis cost these students and their teacher thousands of dollars. The students had gone to the city as part of the National Recreation and Park Convention. On Friday, the last day of their trip, they went to the City Museum.
It was just a good way to spend the last day and have fun in a city that most of us have never been to before.
But when they came out, they knew something was wrong.
They took a variety of things: passports, wallets, phones, purses, iPads.
I definitely was one of the luckier ones. Some people lost like laptops and just like they had a lot of schoolwork, a lot of hours put in.
While they were inside, thieves broke into the van they had parked in the museum parking lot and stole thousands of dollars worth of their belongings. Gillette says one of the biggest losses was a laptop that had his professor's partially completed dissertation for his doctorate. The group has started a GoFundMe to help offset their losses.
The first feeling was definitely disbelief. It was crazy.
Gillette says they weren't the only victims that day. He said a large Winnebago parked near their van was also broken into and burglarized. In Madison County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Police do have surveillance video of the crime. We have a link to the GoFundMe page on our website, WKYT.com. Well, some frightening moments for some people in Madison County when their car ended up in a lake. It happened around 9 o'clock last night at Will Green Lake near Richmond. Police say the car went out of gear and rolled into the water. Thankfully, everyone got out safely and no one was injured. Police had to call in crews to pull the car out of the lake. A 12-year-old child had to be taken to the hospital after police say he stole alcohol and got drunk outside an Anderson County shopping center. WKYT's Monique Blair has the latest.
He could be needing help, and maybe he'll get it today. You know, this is sad.
Parents who live near the West Park Shopping Plaza told me they were shocked to hear what happened around 2 o'clock Monday afternoon. Lawrenceburg police tell us a woman called 911 saying that she saw a child with an alcoholic drink in his hand and also acting drunk while he was sitting in front of the Lawrenceburg Dollar General. Lawrenceburg police tell us then when they responded to the Dollar General store here, they did find the 12-year-old child sitting on a chair in front of the store. Police tell us that child was drunk.
With the 12-year-old, it's hard to say. We've determined that he possibly had a minimum of 2 alcoholic beverages.
Chief Chris Atkins says the child first stole the alcohol from inside the store before he went outside and started drinking it.
And I can't say that he was falling on his face drunk, but it was obvious that he had alcohol in his system.
The child was taken to a local hospital to be checked out. Police say they do expect him to be okay. Chief Adkins says the department is looking into the shoplifting charges, but they say the focus right now is on the child's well-being.
When you see a kid with problems, whether they're at home or at school or wherever, that push them to the point of doing something like this, it's just sad. You just really, you really care about the children and you want that child to get help.
In Lawrenceburg, Monique Blair, WKYT.
Police have not released any information regarding the 12-year-old's parents. Samsung announces it's stopping sales of its Galaxy Note 7 smartphone after a new round of problems. The company recalled its original version after reports of phones exploding and/or catching fire. The replacement phones were supposed to be safe, but in the last week, one of those phones started smoking on a Southwest Airlines plane in Louisville, and a Nicholasville man told WKYT his replacement phone caught fire, sending him to the hospital. Samsung says if you have a replacement Galaxy Note 7 or one of the originals, turn off the phone and go to the store for a refund. A Laurel County man now admits he killed his stepfather over the weekend. John Stricker spoke with WKYT from jail. Police charged him with murder after finding the victim, Donnie Stone, shot to death at a Laurel County home on Sunday. Police later arrested Stricker in Clay County. He told our Hillary Thornton that he shot Stone 5 times after he claims the military gave him confidential orders.
Shot him today at 2:25 a.m. that morning for his death.
And then where'd you go?
To my friend's house.
Family members say Stricker has a history of mental illness and recently stopped taking his medication. He's being held on a $250,000 cash bond. New polling shows Donald Trump trailing Hillary Clinton by more than 5 points just 4 weeks away from Election Day. The candidates are now returning to battleground states after Sunday's debate. Craig Boswell has the latest from the campaign trail.
Hillary Clinton criticized Donald Trump's debate performance at a rally in Ohio.
Donald Trump spent his time last night attacking me when he should have been apologizing.
Trump downplayed his crude words about women that emerged Friday on a video recorded in 2005 and blasted Clinton at a campaign stop in Pennsylvania.
If they want to release more tapes saying inappropriate things, we'll continue to talk about Bill and Hillary Clinton doing inappropriate things. There are so many of them, folks.
More than 70 Republicans have denounced Trump since Friday. At least 27 rescinded their endorsements.
House Speaker Paul Ryan told jittery House Republicans he will no longer defend or campaign for Trump. He urged them to do whatever is necessary to keep their seats in November.
But party chairman Reince Priebus said in a conference call with members of the Republican National Committee the GOP is sticking with its nominee.
The RNC is in full coordination with the Trump campaign, and we have a great relationship with them.
The Clinton campaign is doing its own damage control.
WikiLeaks, I love WikiLeaks.
On Monday, WikiLeaks released more hacked emails from Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta's account. The new batch covers a range of topics from President Obama's relationship with Bernie Sanders to concern about Bill Clinton's business dealings. Clinton and Trump go face-to-face for their final debate next Wednesday. Craig Boswell, CBS News, Washington.
A federal judge has issued a one-day extension to Florida's voter registration deadline because of Hurricane Matthew. He will hear arguments on a request for a longer extension at a hearing tomorrow. The community is stepping up to help the family of a volunteer firefighter from Madison County battling some major health issues. Greg Betzworth volunteers for the Red Lick Fire Department. As he was going through fire school, he noticed he was very weak and felt like he was suffocating. Blood tests revealed the husband and father of 2 only had about half the blood cells that he should inside his body. The cost of countless hospital stays, testing, and blood transfusion is starting to take a toll on his family.
And we've had to go from a house down to a townhome, 2 cars to 1 car. We've done all the cuts that we've possibly been able to do. But I mean, it's just hard when your life is set up with 2 incomes and then one of them goes away.
To help the family out, a close friend is holding a fundraiser today at the Noodles & Company on Nicholasville Road in Lexington. A portion of today's sales will go to help Betzworth and his family. There's also a GoFundMe page set up as well. WKYT this morning, we are just getting started. Still to come.
how hypertension may affect how the brain works. I'm Brian Webb in New York. The details are coming up.
It's another chilly start to the day. We get into the afternoon and it looks really nice. It feels really, really nice today and tomorrow, but then a cold front comes blasting on through on Thursday and Friday. I'll show you what it brings along with it coming up.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Well, if you're about to take off early this morning, I don't see any problems there on the roadways. We haven't heard of anything, so there you go. There's some good news for you. The bad news is it's still a little bit chilly outside. We're holding on to the 40s in some spots. You go down south. South is where we've had mostly clear skies all night long, and that's why we're seeing some cooler conditions off toward the east and southeast, Moorhead, London, Corbin. Work your way off into Breathitt County and also Perry County. I don't see any problems whatsoever. Lincoln County holding on to the 40s too. And then you go up toward Frankfort and Lexington. We're sitting there in the low to mid 50s. We'll finish off there in the 40s for most locations. By the afternoon, we're right around 74 degrees. I don't see any problems once again as we go through the day. That means you guys, you teachers, if you're up this early, you can get the kiddos outside once again. Just know it's going to be cool during the morning hours. By noontime, though, you're in the mid 60s. Actually feels quite nice. Then we head off towards your Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Watch this, okay? So Wednesday looks pretty good. I don't see any problems on Wednesday. Mid 70s, looks great, feels great. Then we head towards your Thursday, and here comes a rain chance with a front. Now remember, I talked about this yesterday, that this front is going to be a mainly dry front, but we cannot rule out a few hit and miss showers here and there. Got about a 40% chance of rain for your Thursday, and off toward Friday, that's when some cooler air, just cooler air, and we can't rule out a stray shower, but for the most part, we're going to stay dry on Friday. But pretty chilly air there on Thursday and on Friday. We're talking temperatures in the mid 60s. However, it's only short-lived, all right? So a small chance of rain, short-lived there with the chilly air Thursday and Friday. Off towards your weekend, it looks and feels much, much better. Let's talk about your 7-day forecast and what it looks like. Next 7 days, we're 74 today, 76 tomorrow. Then that Thursday and Friday, there your temperature drops as we're sitting there at 65 on Thursday, mid-60s on Friday too. That means heading out to Friday night football will be roughly 60 degrees there for a high or for a temperature for kickoff at 7:30 for most locations there on Friday. That's going to be a little bit chilly there as we dip off into the second half, off into your weekend. I still don't see any issues. All looks well as we head off towards your weekend. We just can't rule out on Friday and Saturday a stray shower, but that's 10-20%. I mean,
10%? You're pushing it, Micah. You just
saying,
really want rain, don't you?
I'm just saying, hey, there is a chance. Slightest
just a little bit.
There you
Just
go.
a little bit. All right. Thank you, buddy. A new scientific study from the American Heart Association says high blood pressure, especially in middle age, is linked to an increased risk of cognitive impairment later in life. Brian Webb has your morning health report.
62-year-old Doreen Sanchez was diagnosed with high blood pressure 2 years ago.
My blood pressure was shooting very high, so I ended up in the hospital.
A new scientific statement from the American Heart Association says high blood pressure during middle age is associated with an increased risk of cognitive decline later on.
Having hypertension during midlife, in the 40s and 50s, increases 2 to 3 times the risk of developing Alzheimer's disease later in life.
Dr. Costantino Iadacola of Weill Cornell Medicine wrote the statement.
Hypertension is the worst thing that could happen to the brain. Less blood gets to the brain because these vessels become thicker and they're less able to deliver the blood that the brain needs to function.
Health experts say more studies are needed to examine the direct effect of hypertension on brain function, but keeping your body fit and your mind sharp may reduce the risk.
Doreen Sanchez tries to stay active.
I walk, I do a lot of things around the house and the yard. I'm busy.
And she follows her doctor's advice. Brian Webb for CBS News, New York.
Dementia affects 30 to 40 million people worldwide. That number is expected to triple by 2050 because of the aging population. When WKYT This Morning returns, President Obama signed a disaster declaration for 10 counties in North Carolina, hardest hit by Hurricane Matthew and the flooding it caused. The latest on the hurricane when we come back on WKYT This Morning.
Kentucky mornings start here. You're watching WKYT This Morning.
Welcome back to WKYT This Morning. It is 4:50 on your Tuesday. President Obama has signed a disaster declaration for 10 counties in North Carolina hit hard by Hurricane Matthew. Rescuers are still going house to house in parts of North Carolina looking for anyone trapped by the water. More than a foot of rain fell over the weekend, causing many levees to fail, and some rivers are swelling well above flood stage. 800 inmates at a North Carolina prison had to be evacuated because of the rising water. Matthew has already been blamed for 27 deaths in the southeast, many of them in North Carolina. Search crews spent hours at a Barron County lake looking for a missing man. Police say 27-year-old Spencer Huddleston hasn't been seen since Friday. They say they found his car and some of his belongings near a bridge at Barron River Lake yesterday, but they didn't see any sign of Huddleston. Crews called off the search late last night. 3 people are facing charges in connection to some vehicle thefts in Laurel County. London police say they've charged Derek Mills, John Goldsberry, and Heather Gurton with receiving stolen property. Police say a tip led them to a home on Morintown Road where they found 2 trucks that had been reported stolen. They say Goldsberry appeared to be doing mechanical work on one of the vehicles when police arrived. Many people in Montgomery County are doing what they can to help a business destroyed by a fire. The fire started early Sunday morning at Rayburn's Market in Mount Sterling. It also destroyed 4 apartments above the century-old business. Longtime customers showed up to the market to lend a helping hand to the owner.
So deep down in his heart, he's really hurting because this was his life. This little store was Ron's life. I love him. God loves him. Hope the people love him enough to come and help him. That's all I can say.
The owner says he's not planning to rebuild the store right now. Firefighters are still trying to figure out what caused the fire. The Fayette County Detention Center has some new rules for people visiting inmates. Jail leaders say the new rules are designed to avoid long wait times for visitors. They say inmate visits will no longer be allowed on Mondays and Fridays, and each inmate must make a list of no more than 5 people who they would like to visit. Each of those people can only visit twice each week. Inmates will be allowed to change their visitor list every 90 days. A Kentucky Air National Guardsman is walking more than 100 miles in honor of a fallen friend. Captain Nathan Tingle left Louisville Sunday. He's walking along US 60 all the way to Moorhead, and he's carrying a rucksack weighing about 90 pounds. The Ruck for Colin honors Navy SEAL Colin Thomas, a Moorhead native who died in Afghanistan 6 years ago. Tingle first made the 140-mile walk 2 years ago, and each time he raises money for the Special Operations Warrior Foundation, which provides scholarships for children of fallen service members.
It was amazing the number of people that came out, shared their stories with me, wanted to walk with me, gave cash donations on the spot.
Tingle says he plans to be in Moorhead by Friday in time for a charity golf scramble being held in Thomas's memory. Well, coming up next on WKYT this morning, we'll take a look at some of the stories we're working on for you today, and we'll have another look at your Kentucky forecast coming up. It is 4:56 on your Tuesday, 4/5/6. Now it's time to take a look at some of the stories we're working on for you this morning. The family of a murdered Letcher County man is asking for help. Kentucky State Police say Michael Lowe was found stabbed to death in his apartment in Jenkins last week. Now they're saying Lowe was murdered. We'll have the latest details on that investigation coming up at the top of the hour on WKYT this morning. All right, let's get one more check of your morning forecast with meteorologist Mike Harris. It's a little chilly out there.
It is a little chilly, 40s and 50s. Good news here is it's not as cold as it was yesterday morning, so yeah, there's something positive out of it. And we get in toward your afternoon, it's going to be a little bit warmer too. Watch this, we get into 74 degrees later on today. Perfect weather in store today for tomorrow. But then we head towards your Thursday and Friday. That's when things start to change just a bit. It's going to be short-lived, but we do get a cold front that's going to be moving through, and that will give us not only the chance of dropping those temperatures about 10 degrees, but also the chance of rain in the forecast. We're going to go over that. We still got another 2 hours of WKYT News coming up at the top of the hour. If you're about to take off, have a great morning. If not, stick with us. We'll be right back here in just a couple of minutes.